Okay, so here's the thing we're not considering.
Okay.
We're always like, Selena can't be the best assassin. What if all the other assassins legitimately suck? Are you ready, kids?
Yeah, and here we go. First, I have to say, I have no idea what this little thing is called, and I'm not going to look it up so other people can get it because it's not that great. But I've got this little keyboard.
A little Bluetooth keyboard that you hold in your hand like a game controller.
Like a game controller, yeah. And it's got like little buttons up top to control other things. It's got like a little touchpad on it for me to like control my computer from the little keyboard. It's fun. It's not all that practical, but it's fun. So I'm controlling our setup today via that.
Amazing. Chapter 35. There would be no candles for these midnight deeds, and no ivory horn to signal the start of the hunt. She dressed in her darkest tunic and slid a smooth black mask into her cloak pocket.
That's a big pocket, or a tiny mask. Is it just like an eye mask?
All of her weapons, even the hairpins, had been removed from her rooms. She knew without checking that the doors and windows were being watched. Good. This was no sort of hunt that began at the front door.
What, she's going hunting after the prince?
She locked her bedroom and spared a glance at Fleetfoot, who cowered under the bed as she hauled open the secret door.
Oh, she's going to the secret place.
The dog was still quietly whining as Selena strolled into the passage. She didn't need a light to make her way down the tomb.
There's absolutely no care given to the dog being like, something's up.
She knew the path by memory now, each step, each turn. Her cloak whispered against the steps. Down and down she went. It was war upon them all. Let them tremble and fear at what they had awoken. Moonlight spilled into the landing.
We haven't seen really much of any reason to.
Will you bring me my tea, please?
Where is your tea?
It's over there. It's on my dresser. Her cloak whispered against the steps.
Don't spill it on my library book.
It's my library book, I'll have you know. How dare you say this is your library book when it was my card that put
I tried. I don't know my pin anymore. It's been too long. I've just been using the app.
Moonlight spilled into the landing, illuminating the open door of the tomb and Mort's little bronze face.
Mort.
I'm sorry about your friend.
Oh, don't.
He said with surprising sorrow as she stalked towards him. She didn't reply. She didn't care how she knew. She just kept walking through the door and between the sarcophagi to the heap of treasure piled in the back. Daggers, hunting knives, M-dash. She took whatever she could strap onto her belt or tuck into her boots. She took a handful of gold and jewels and shoved them into a pocket too. What are you doing? Mort demanded from the hallway. Selena approached the stand that displayed Damaris, sword of Gavin,
Damaris?
the first king of Ireland. The hollowed-out gold pommel glinted in the moonlight as she pulled back the scabbard from the stand.
Wait, the hollowed out? Isn't it like missing a spot for a gem?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember.
Does the eye fit?
And strapped it across her back. That is a sacred sword, Mort hissed, as though he could see inside him. Selena
He's everywhere. He's magic.
Smiled grimly as she stalked back to the door, fingering her hood over her head. Whatever you're doing, Mort went on, whatever you plan to do, you debase the sword by taking it from here. Aren't you afraid of angering the gods?
No.
Selena just laughed quietly before she took the stairs, savoring each step, each movement that brought her closer to her prey. She relished the bone in her arms as she hauled the sewer grate up, rotating the ancient wheel until it was fully raised.
Get rotated.
dripping with filth. And the sewer and the water beneath the dripping with filth and the water beneath the castle.
What?
Dripping with filth and the water beneath the castle flowed freely into the small river outlet. She tossed a piece of broken stone into the river beyond the archway, listening for guards.
Wait, did it say a piece of broken stone?
Yeah.
Okay.
No sound.
You might
not
be a bit more specific than broken stone.
Not a scrape of armor or a whisper of warning. An assassin had killed Nehemia, an assassin with a taste for the grotesque and a desire for notoriety. Finding Grave would only take a few questions.
Oh, that's right. She's so committed to this being Grave. Conclusions jumped.
She tied the chain above the lever, testing its strength, and checked to ensure that Damaris was tightly strapped to her back. Then, gripping the castle stones, she swung around the wall, slithering sideways. She didn't bother to glance up at the castle as she eased around the back.
They never look up.
Yep, the back of the river and dropped onto the frozen ground. Then she vanished into the night. Section break. Cloaked in darkness, Selena walked through the streets of Rifthold. She made no sound as she passed through the dim alleys. Only one place could provide the answers she wanted. Sewage and puddles of excrement lay beneath every window of the slums, and the cobblestone streets.
Wait, did it say sewage and?
Excrement.
I guess sewage includes more stuff, but I'm not sure you need to say sewage and excrement. Well, I guess if it never made it into the sewer, you wouldn't call it sewage.
And the cobblestone streets were cracked and misshapen after many hard winters. The buildings leaned against each other, some so ramshackle that even the poorest citizens had abandoned them.
Sounds like London. Also, that doesn't sound likely.
Yeah. On most streets, the taverns overflowed
Selena would also have no idea. She's not, checking out every building.
On most streets, the taverns overflowed with drunks and whores and everyone else who sought temporary relief from their miserable lives. It made no difference how many saw her. None would bother her tonight. The cape billowed behind her.
That does not sound like what an assassin should, maybe be thinking.
Her face...
word could get to Grave.
It's true. Her face remaining expressionless beneath her obsidian mask as she moved through the streets.
Oh, now the mask is obsidian.
The vaults, capitalized, so it's a location, were just a few blocks away.
Are these like the catacombs?
Maybe. I wonder. Ooh, good guess. Let's see if we're right. If you're right. Selena's gloved hands clenched. Once she found out where Grave was hiding,
she'd not in the catacombs.
She'd torn his skin inside out. Worse than that, actually. She stopped before a nondescript iron door. Hey, I thought doors weren't made out of iron. That was the whole thing about the iron door in the basement. It was so freaky that they were made out of iron.
No, because that one was also utterly unremarkable.
And impenetrable.
And wholly impenetrable.
Holy.
And that hole is spelt with an H.
Hired thugs stood watch outside. She flashed them a silver entrance fee, and they opened the door for her. In the subterranean warren below...
It's kind of funny to hear them described as hired thugs. You mean employees?
Hired thugs. Hey, that is so rude. I'm an employee.
Yeah, I'm not a hired thug.
I have a pension.
I have a pension and a union. I'm an employee. Unlike you, Selena.
In the subterranean warren below, one could find the cut throats, the monsters, and the damned of Audlin. The filth came here to exchange stories.
Not the damned who made it to Dovier.
Mm-hmm. It's lucky if you get to Indorville compared to here. That's all I can say. The filth came to exchange stories and make deals. It was here that any whisper of Nehemiah's assassin would be found.
Really?
Grave had undoubtedly received a large fee for his services and could be counted on to now be recklessly spending his blood money.
Wow, she's making these, like, huge assumptions. Like, huge.
M dash, and a spree that would not go unnoticed. He wouldn't have left Rifthold M dash. Oh no, he wanted people to know he killed the princess. He wanted to hear himself named the new Otterland's assassin. He wanted Selena to know, too.
Gosh, you're such a... I'm really bothered by all the jumping to assumption jumping.
Yeah.
Like, more jump scares than Five Nights at Freddy's.
There's more jumping in here than jump scares and fluff.
No! In case anyone's wondering what that sound was, that was tea sipping.
No one's here to wonder, darling. As she headed down the steps into the vaults, the reek of ale and unwashed bodies hit her like a stone to the face.
How?
She hadn't been in this sort of festering den for a long while. The main chamber was strategically lit. A chandelier hung in the center of the room, but there was little light to be found along the walls for those who sought not to be seen.
So here's a question. So she's been here before, I'm assuming when she was with...
Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn,
whatever his name is. Arobin? Is Arobin someone else? Or is
no, same person.
Okay.
Hamill. I think his last name is Hamill. Hamill.
Okay, so I'm assuming she was lost here when she was doing stuff with Hamill, right? And I'm like, so did Hamill also have this, like, condescending air towards these people? Which, I wouldn't
put it past him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it'd be weird if he did, but, like, did he? And is this who she learned it from? Did she learn it from someone else? Because she is, like, these people... beneath her, so far beneath her.
I think she just has a very condescending attitude towards anyone, practically.
Okay.
No one's as good as her. Everyone's beneath her.
Yeah, but these people are definitely clearly beneath other people.
Yeah. Well, that's because they live underground, Beth.
The Underminer.
How I have always been beneath you, but there was no one... Wait. Beneath me? Wait, hold on. I have always been beneath you.
I've always lived beneath you, but there is no one who lives beneath me. I don't know what it is.
There's something. It's saying how he's below them, but he's above them at the same time. I don't remember how it goes. All laughter halted as she strode between the tables. Red-rimmed eyes followed her every step. She didn't...
This is, like, supposed to be, like, where, like, horrible people are, but you gotta pay a fee to get in.
Yeah. They gotta make money somehow.
They're making money. They have to pay the fee to get in the place where you pay money to drink.
This is like evil Pulse and Costco.
Whoa. You're so true.
This is like... I can't think of a good partner.
That's okay. You got the Costco.
She didn't know the identity of the new crime lord who ruled over this place and didn't care. Please stop shaking the bed.
Oh, sorry.
It's
the mattress
difficult.
is so comfy to push against.
It's difficult for me to read while I'm being jumbled around her.
I don't know. It seems like she maybe should care about who the new crime lord is.
No,
I mean, she's like planning to be out
She's Selena
dead.
Sardathian. She doesn't care about anyone. She doesn't need to care because she's so badass. She can do anything, girl.
I guess she's also planning to go out in a blaze of glory, probably.
Yeah.
But still.
So lame. Her business wasn't with him. Not tonight. She didn't allow herself to look at the many fighting pits that occupied the distant end of the chamber, M-dash. Pits where crowds were still gathered, cheering for whoever fought with fists and feet within. She'd been in the vaults before, many times in those final days before her capture. Now that IOAN Jane. I-O-A-N. I'm pretty sure this name, I-O-A-N, was the name of an OC in a Torchwood fanfiction I read.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was a Jack Harkness and Yonto baby, yeah?
Iowan?
And now that Iowan Jane, I don't know if we ever heard about Jane before. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Jane is the kind of name that I would be like,
Well,
might have heard that before.
J-Y-N-E.
Well,
and Ion Jane.
If I was listening to it in book 1, I would have no idea. If you read it, I would have no idea.
And Rourke Fallen were dead.
Rourke?
Yeah, we do remember him.
Rourke!
How dare they use his...
Take his name in vain. Dallas, are you hearing this?
The place seemed to have passed into new ownership without losing any of its depravity. Selena walked right up to the barkeep. He didn't recognize her, but she didn't expect him to, not when she'd been so careful to hide her identity all those years.
Why would he have any reason to recognize her?
Totally useless sentence. What is this sentence doing here? He didn't recognize her, which she expected because she always hid her face.
Yeah. More tea.
I got that beast in me. I have that demon in me.
Yep.
The barkeep was already pale, and his sparse hair had become even sparser over the past year and a half.
So same person.
Yeah. He tried to peel beneath her cowl as she halted at the bar, but the mask and hood kept her features hidden. Drink, he asked, wiping sweat from his brow. Everyone in the bar was still watching her, either discreetly or outright.
Everyone?
God forbid someone in a nasty place can be not ugly. Like, they always gotta be ugly if they're in unpleasant places.
And if they're beneath her.
And if they're beneath her. No, she said, her voice contorted and deep beneath the mask. The barkeep gripped the edge of the counter. Y'all, M-dash, you're back, he said quietly.
Dang, that was excellent disguise, Selena.
As more heads turned. You escaped. So he did recognize her then.
Yeah, because she's an idiot.
She wondered if the new owners held a grudge against her for killing Iron Jane, M-dash, and how many bodies she'd have to leave in her wake if they decided to start a fight right here, right now. What she planned to do tonight already broke enough rules, crossed too many lines. She leaned on the bar, crossing one ankle over the other.
Ready to be shoved over.
The barkeep mopped his brow again and poured her a brandy. On the house, he said, sliding it to her. She caught it in her hand but didn't drink. He wet his lips, then asked, How, M-dash, how did you escape? People leaned back in their chairs, straining to hear. Let them spread rumors. Let them hesitate before crossing her path. She hoped Oberyn heard too. She hoped he heard and stayed the hell away from her.
So, is the implication that they think she escaped from
Indovir
or from prison?
Oh.
In the castle? Because I feel like it's very
I don't think they would know.
No one would know, like no one in the crime world would know that the champion is Selena Sardathian. Oh. I feel like they would know, because there were people at the championship.
Yeah.
Word would get out, and those people would supposedly know who she is, and she is supposedly the greatest assassin in all of Adarland.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Let them hesitate, blah, blah, blah. You'll discover that soon, she said. But I have need of you.
She probably has the worst fake voice ever.
His brows lifted. Me? You'll have to inquire after a man. Her voice was scratchy and hollow. Or was it contorted and deep? Which one was it? A man who recently earned a large sum of gold for the assassination of the Elway princess. He goes by the name Grave. I need to know where he is. I don't know anything. The barkeep's face turned even paler.
I'm just the barkeep. I'm just your cook.
She reached into her pocket and pulled out a glittering fistful of ancient jewels and gold. All eyes watched them now.
So tarnished you couldn't tell what they were.
Allow me to repeat my question, barkeep. Yeah, so everyone knows that she has a lot of money already. They're all going to jump her to just get a coin of it.
Yeah.
But remember, she's Selena Sadafian, and an entire bar could come fight her. Granted, they would be drunk, but that's not the point.
Not all
that's
drunk
not
yet.
the point.
The night is young.
And she could cut them down like grass because she's so spectacular and amazing and the greatest assassin ever.
Because that's definitely an assassin would be great at melee fighting against multiple opponents. That's definitely what assassins specialize in.
Section break. The assassin who called himself Grave ran. So it was Grave. She was right. Of course she was. He didn't know how long she'd been hunting him. Why can't it have been Nox?
Straight up.
Like that?
Well, Nox is a poisoner. Well, he would have knocked him out with poison. You know, they'd be like incapacitated with the poison, possibly dead, and then he could do the final touches.
To make it look like someone else. Like a good assassin.
Yeah. In fact, that's what it is.
The way you become a famous assassin is that you get results, and then the person who hired you is like, hey, I kind of like this guy. And the next time when they're at the next speed dating, they're like, you know, I have an assassin I think you would really like. You need to kill your husband? Oh, don't worry.
Oh, don't worry. I think we're hitting it off. You need to kill your husband? Oh.
I needed to kill my wife.
Nox is perfect.
He didn't know how long she'd been hunting him. It had been well over a week since he killed the princess. A week, and no one even looked his way. He thought he'd gotten away with it, M-dash, and had even started wondering whether he should have been more creative with the body. If he should have left some sort of calling card behind. But all of that changed tonight. He'd been drinking at the counter of his favorite tavern when the packed room had gone suddenly quiet.
Oh my gosh, was Selena in? She's an idiot.
What?
He was there.
Oh yeah.
If that's what's about to happen.
He was there. Well, no. So it's been a week since he's killed the princess.
Which is about how long it was before Selena left the castle.
Oh, that's right. Oh, my goodness.
Because he was in his favorite tavern, the room went quiet. What, because Selena walked in?
Oh, my goodness. I forgot that she was in prison. She was, like, in the castle for a while.
All right, let's find out if that is what's happening.
He turned to see her in the doorway as she called out his name.
Okay, he wasn't like in the place that she went to when she was like, I need answers.
Yeah. So they gave her answers, though.
Ugh.
Looking more like a wraith than a human. His name hadn't even finished echoing in the room before he burst into a sprint, escaping through the back exit and into the alley. He couldn't hear footsteps, but he knew she was behind him, melting in and out of shadows and mist. He took alleys and side streets.
And he's, like, being portrayed as being so incompetent compared to her. Like, oh, yeah, she definitely wouldn't have stayed here and just been, like, spending money and been thinking about how to, I should have left a calling card.
Which, I mean, that kind of is what she did, though. She got her blood money, and went shopping. And had a shopping spree. Also, she's kind of chained into one area, so.
Yeah.
He took alleys and side streets, leaping over walls, zigzagging across the slums, anything to shake her, to wear her down. He'd make his final stand in a quiet street. There, he could take out the blades strapped to his skin and make her pay for the way...
Oh, I just dropped my little keyboard. I should maybe set it down when I'm not using it. Please don't die.
She's on the brink, buff.
Strapped to his skin.
It's chafing.
He was not prepared to run.
I sure hope not. Blades chafe me so.
Are you thinking of what I'm thinking?
I sure hope not. And make her pay for the way she'd humiliated him in the competition, the way she had sneered at him, the way she'd broken his nose and tossed her handkerchief into his chest. Haughty, stupid bitch.
Oh, right. He was the one who called her a bitch all the time, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Kane did it too.
He staggered as he rounded the corner, his breath ragged and raw. He had only 3 daggers hidden on him. He'd make them count, though. When she appeared at the tavern, he had immediately taken note of the broadsword hovering over one of her shoulders.
Hovering?
Yeah, it's
magic.
That's because it's holy, remember?
Oh, that's right.
And the
gods are getting angrier and angrier. The sword's charging up.
And the assortment of wicked-looking blades strapped to her hips. But he could make her pay, even if he only had a few blades. Grave was halfway down the cobblestone alley when he realized it was a dead end, the far wall too high to climb. Here, then, he'd soon have her begging for mercy as he cut her into little pieces. Drawing one of his daggers, he smiled and turned to the open street behind him.
She wasn't there.
You know what would be fun? She doesn't come into the street. She waits for him to leave the street so she can catch her breath, and he's waiting for her, and she'll just pounce him. She's just on the other side. She's at the corner of the street, waiting.
Waiting, patiently. No, she's not.
Blue mist drifted by,
My gosh.
and a rat scurried across the narrow passage.
The rat, it's my calling card.
It's my calling.
There
was no noise, only the sounds of distant. There was no noise, only the sounds of distant revelry. Noise or not? Noise or not?
I mean, also there should be other sounds. You're in a city.
The
at
rats,
night.
for
That's
instance.
apparently got a very active nightlife.
Perhaps he had lost her. These royal fools made the biggest mistake of their lives when they crowned her champion. His client had said as much when he'd hired a Grave.
So he was hired by someone sick. She was right about that too, I guess. Got paid a big sum of money. Of gold.
He waited a moment, still watching the open street entrance, and then allowed himself to breathe, surprised to find that he was a little disappointed. King's champion indeed. It hadn't been hard to lose her after all. It hadn't been hard to lose her at all. And now he would go home, and he'd receive another job offer in the matter of days, and then another and another. His client had promised that the offers would come. Aubryn Hamel would curse the day he rejected Grave from the assassin school for being too cruel with his prey. Grave chuckled, flipping his dagger in his hands. Then she appeared. She came through the fog, no more than a sliver of darkness. She didn't run, M-dash. She just rocked with that insufferable swagger.
That swagger, huh?
Grave surveyed the buildings around them. The room was too slippery, the stone was too slippery, and there were no windows. One step at a time she approached. He would really enjoy making her suffer as much as the princess had. Smiling, Grave retreated to the end of the alley, only stopping when his back hit the wall. A narrower space, he could overpower her, and in this forgotten street, he could take his own sweet time doing what he wanted. Still she approached, and the sword on her back whined as she drew it.
The sword whined?
So you're going to make it so you're in a confined space with a sword wielder. Well, she could stay out of your range and poke you to death with her great sword.
You've got 3 daggers, buddy. Make them count. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. She's got way more reach than him.
It's swords aren't great for close combat, but it's not like you're in a bathroom together right now.
Yeah, you're not in
She
a
can
tiny
choose
room.
how close she's going to get to you because she's walking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge point. So glad you brought that up. I wouldn't have thought of that in the moment. But yeah. She should have just brought a crossbow.
The moonlight glinted off the long blade, probably a gift from her princeling lover. He pulled his second dagger from his boot. This wasn't a frilly, ridiculous competition run by nobility. Here, any rules applied. She didn't say anything when she kneeled.
Any rules applied? Don't you mean
No rules applied? Grave pulled his... and Grave didn't say anything to her as he rushed her, swiping for
So
her
he came
head.
out of the corner that he just backed into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swiping for her head with both blades. She stepped aside, dodging him with maddening ease. Grave lunged again.
Everything is just so easy for her.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't even need to be Fae. She's so amazing as she is right now.
No, that's why she's so amazing, because she is part Fae. That gives her her amazingness.
But faster than he could follow, she ducked and slashed her sword across his shins. He hit
Across his shins?
Yeah.
Dude, should have brought shin guards.
Should've.
You can no longer flex your foot. Terrible news. Also, I don't know, it seems like kind of an awkward strike with a long sword.
Yeah.
Wait, was it a long sword? What was it called? Great sword?
No, I don't remember.
Broadsword?
I think it was broader.
I don't know, it seems like his shins, you're going like way down there.
I think it said broader.
Anyways, it's a big sword. It just seems like really awkward to get it down to someone's shins.
Yeah.
What is it, a scythe?
He hit the wet ground before he felt the pain. The world flashed black and gray and red, and agony tore through him. A dagger still left in his hand. He scuttled backwards toward the wall, but his legs wouldn't respond.
His legs wouldn't respond? Dude, it's just the flexors of your feet.
No, it says how it's like red, black, gray, and agony tore through him. I think the sword is cursed.
Oh, probably.
You know, Gavin was so good at Gavin was so good at a sword. Like,
the agony.
No, I think Gavin was probably so good at like killing and fighting because like his sword, if you nick him, it probably puts you in agony or something. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
I think the sword's enchanted, of course, depending on
the last thing Selena needs is a magic weapon.
Depending on what end of the sword you're on. Bitch.
I need her to nick herself, as happens when you're fighting with blades. You nick yourself on occasion and just be incapacitated. Instantly. This ain't no Gloriella situation.
Bitch, he hissed. Bitch. He hit the wall, blood pouring from his legs.
Like such poor dialogue.
Bone had been sliced. He would not be able to walk. He could
The bone being sliced, unless you mean broken, is not the reason you can't walk, buddy. She cut your flexors.
No flexors! They're broken! He would not be able to walk. He could still find a way to make her pay, though.
Actually, wait a second. Do you need your flexors? You probably could walk without your flexors.
I think you could probably pull it up, flop your foot forward.
Because horses, I think, they can have their flexors cut for, like, medical reasons. Or, like, have the nerves
Permanently?
cut. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
To, like, help control pain in their feet. And they can still get by because they can figure out how to flip a foot up.
Oh, that seems like that would be bad for the rest of the tendons.
For the rest of the tendons?
Yeah, because you're like, instead of controlling the foot forward, you're just like flicking it forward.
Well, the alternative is killing them because they're in so much foot pain.
You know, that's so true. If I had foot pain, I would just want to die, too.
I'm out. I am out.
Don't even cut down. Hey, get that knife away from my shins. Hey, give me the bullet. Give me the...
But not the same thing with the extensors.
I think if it was just here so you couldn't bring your foot up, I think you could probably still make it walk.
Or it might be the opposite for horses, though. I realize because it's their toe we're talking about, not like their shin. So it might. Is it flexor?
One little piggy,
extensor?
two little piggy, three little piggy.
It's extensor then to go forward. But anyways, the muscle on the front. But those are extensors on their digits.
She stopped a few feet away and sheathed her sword. She drew out a long...
Now I'm feeling like I'm flipped up on that. I'll review it later. No one here needs to know. Just remember, sometimes you can kill muscles and it's okay.
She drew a long, jeweled dagger. He swore at her, the filthiest word he could think of. She chuckled, and then faster...
Filthier than bitch? And so filthy it can't be written. Because bitch could be multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
She chuckled.
On, Maas. How creative are you?
Yeah.
Show me. What's
Mother loving wolf
you can think of
stash.
for a woman?
Mother loving wolf stash. One water. She chuckled, and faster than a striking asp.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Literally a striking snake?
An asp.
That's a snake.
An asp.
It's slightly more specific, but it is a snake.
She had one of his arms against the wall, the dagger glinting. It seems like pain rippled through his wrist, his right wrist, then his left too.
What's she doing? Cutting off his hands?
Pain ripped through his right wrist, then his left, as it, too, was slammed into the stone. It seems like if she came here and grabbed his arm, he should have cut her with one of his other knives.
He's in debilitating pain. You forgot. Debilitating. Agony.
Was slammed into the stone. Grave screamed.
So should she put her sword down?
She sheathed it. Truly screamed M. as he found his arms pinned to the wall by 2 daggers. Oh, he just found
daggers.
it?
Okay.
He just found it?
Isn't the wall stone?
It is.
It is stone.
Yeah. These daggers can go through stone.
These daggers can go through stone. Don't question it.
Fairy daggers. It's cool. It's awesome. So it is so badass. She can put her knives through stone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I feel like if your knife can go, like, slice through stone, isn't it coming back out? Like, how does stone hold it once you cut it? It's not wood.
It's not the sweet, supple flesh of that woman.
That either. It's not going to suction around it.
Give me my knife back. Give me my knife back.
Give me my knife back. Give me my knife back. Give me my knife back. All right, so once again,
his blood
doesn't know if it's wood or stone.
His blood was nearly black in the moonlight.
It is black in the moonlight. Moonlight does not. Ah!
He thrashed, cursing her again and again. He would bleed to death unless he pulled his arms from the wall. It seemed like he would still bleed to death.
Would you? Yeah, that's true. Of course, I'm sure he means unless he seeks medical attention for himself. Though there should be less bleeding while the knife is in than when the knife is out. But also, I guess you could bleed to death from cutting arteries in your wrists.
We don't know if it's wrists, though. It just said his arms were pinned.
Did it say took him by the wrist?
Oh, yeah, ripped through his right wrist and then his left, too. As it, too, was pinned, slammed to the wall. Well, no, it said the wrists were slammed into the wall. And then it said his arms were pinned to the wall by daggers.
Oh, I'm assuming it's the pain in the wrists is where the daggers would be.
She crucified him.
Crucified to the prom. I don't know why I started singing Prince of Egypt. Anyways, yeah, sure, he can die from that.
With otherworldly silence, she crouched before him and lifted his chin with another dagger. Grave panted as she brought her face close to his. There was nothing beneath the cow, M-. Nothing of this world. She had no face. Because of the obsidian mask, of course.
Of course.
With otherworldly... Who hired you? Wait, I need to do my Batman voice. Where did they go? Who are you working for? Who hired you? She asked.
I'm not sure that's understandable.
Who hired you?
I'm not sure that's any better.
Who hired you?
Who hired you?
Who hired you? She asked, her voice like gravel. To do what? He asked, almost sobbing. Maybe he could feign innocence. He could talk his way out, convince this arrogant whore that he had nothing to do with it. ...
It's just ridiculous the way Maas has him being written. but then still constantly referring to her as a whore to, like, emphasize that he's a terrible person.
He was already too evil to go to evil assassin school. Like, we already know that.
We already know that. He's too evil Knievel.
Conniving gerbil.
Conniving gerbil? That would, in fact, be the ultimate villain.
That is
evil.
The 1,200-pound rat's cousin.
Oh my goodness, you're right. The conniving gerbil.
She toned the dagger, pressing it to his neck. To kill the Princess Nehemia! No one! I don't know what you're talking about! And then, without an intake of breath, she buried another dagger. He hadn't realized she'd been holding it to his thigh. So deep, he felt the reverberation as it hit the cobblestones beneath.
So wait a second. Does he have really skinny legs?
Big dagger.
Big dagger? Is it like Dirk?
Yeah. Through the side of the thigh. I think it would have been better if she scratched his femur, just saying.
Just saying.
Like, just
also,
tickle,
that could kill him a lot faster than you mean, Selena.
tickle his bone.
Tickle his bone. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just the periosteum. Just where it counts.
Carve Nehemia's name onto his femur. Don't you mean onto his thigh? No.
No.
Femur.
Femur.
I want him dead.
Yeah, no, Selena, careful there, lady. You could kill him real quick with that move.
His scream shouted out of him, and Grave writhed, his wrists rising further on the blades.
And then he realized if he just, pulled his wrists all the way to the hilts, those daggers come straight out of the wall. Because they're stone. They're barely hanging in there.
By a thread. Who hired you? She asked again. Calm. So calm. I don't need to have consistent narration. This book isn't consistent with its text. Gold, Grave moaned. I have gold.
Gold also is who hired him. His name's Gold. J.P. Morgan.
The ghost of rich dudes past.
Yeah.
She drew yet another dagger and shoved it into his other thigh, piercing again the stone.
Shoved it?
Yeah.
Okay. Piercing again to the stone? Is it not sticking in the stone this time?
Grave shrieked, shrieked to gods who did not save him. Who hired you? I don't know what you're talking about. After a heartbeat, she withdrew the daggers from his thighs. He almost soiled himself.
We already saw that. Hey, I have comments. we already saw his narrative, so we already know someone hired him. There's no question here. So that whole thing is ruined from us having his POV before. If Maas had, not given us that, so we don't know. Did no one hire him? Mm-hmm. But that's all ruined.
Was it actually him? Mm-hmm.
We don't ever get to know.
Well, we knew immediately.
We know already, so we don't get that. Who knows?
Yeah.
That question. Once again, terrible.
He almost soiled himself at the pain, at the relief. Thank you.
Wait, what'd she do?
She pulled the daggers from his thighs. Thank you.
Does that actually make the pain any less? I don't know.
He wept, even as he thought how he would punish her. She sat back on her heels, and stared at him. Thank you. But then she brought up another dagger, its edge serrated and glinting, and hovered it
It's called a bread knife, Selena.
And hovered it close to his hand. Pick a finger, she said. He trembled and shook his head. Pick a finger.
Also, I have to say, unless she is planning to saw through bone, don't use that knife, Selena. That's not going to be great for getting through joints. You don't need serrations to get through joints. Certainly not on a finger.
A blade and pop it off. Please. A wet warmth filled the seat of his pants. Thumb it is. No, I'll tell you everything. Still, she brought the blade closer until it rested against the base of his thumb. Don't! I'll tell you everything!
End of the chapter.
It seems like she's already, punctured your thighs. She's already ruined your wrists. I guess the only thing he's trying to save himself is from more pain. Like, how is he going to, like, be an assassin now with this damage to him?
He could recover.
Okay. Well, I guess he could recover.
I mean, I don't know what medical stuff is like then. I don't know what level of
Well, they don't have magic anymore, you know?
Right. Anyways, I feel like I voiced a lot of my
Ultra lame.
during the chapter. My takeaways, once again, Maas stumbles blindly through every opportunity to make this a more gripping story, a more interesting story. She reaches out and snatches defeat from the jaws of victory.
No, you kind of... Well, no, she snatches victory from the jaws of defeat because somehow this book series is so damn popular. Well,
So true.
this should have been a flop.
It should have been.
People should have read this and been like,
two.
this shit sucks.
Yeah.
This shit is poorly written.
So just once again, we see the jumping to conclusions, but oh, they're right. The fact that we got Graves' POV entirely ruined the interrogation because there was no question, because we already knew.
Someone had hired him.
Someone had hired him. There's also now not going to be probably any question of whether or not he gave true information, because this is Maas's work. And he had information. Anyways, so it's just once again lots of missed opportunities everywhere.
Yeah. Again, I've voiced this in the past, but the chapter before this happened is when Grave was first introduced, or something like that.
Well, other than from book one, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the idea of it being Graves, one chapter ago, was finished up in this chapter.
Yeah.
We'll probably hear about Graves maybe 2 more times.
Probably.
If that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I just feel like Sarah J. Maas doesn't mention anything until, oh, it's relevant. Here's one chapter beforehand. Or here it is.
One section beforehand.
One section break beforehand. Oh, I've been planning this for weeks, but this is the first we're hearing about it. So, you know, I just feel like it could have been maybe we hear that Graves in town. Maybe we just hear more about, like, what are the other champions up to, you know?
Yeah, like, literally, when she's, like, going out in town to, like, keep track of, like, people, she could have seen him.
Yeah.
She could have heard something.
That would have given, I think, if she had seen him around, that could also give her assumption that it's Grave a little more credence. Because she's like, I've seen him around. I know he's here.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe I saw him near the castle.
Yeah, I saw him loitering. Just like me.
Just like me.
So, again, just I don't like how Maas doesn't introduces something just as soon as it's relevant, and we don't hear anything about it beforehand.
Yeah.
But hey, I feel like we're solidly 2/3 of the way through this book, so...
It is looking further and further every day.
So we're getting there.
Delightful.
6 chapters in 3 days. Let's go, baby!
Woo! All right, I think that's some wonderful takeaways. Everyone else, chew on that. Chew on your stuff. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
I'd really like to know some other people's problems with this book. It's just because I'm curious. Definitely for no other ulterior motives.
Wait, hold on. I'm looking at the little excerpt of the third book.
Mm-hmm. Does it say Graves?
No, it said Selena swigged from a jug of wine, and I thought it said she took a swig, and I was like, hey, they have swig here. They have swig.
And on that note, toodles, everyone.